This episode is for anyone with a business. If you have a website, this is going to be an absolute game changer, and I'm super excited to record it for you. We're going to jump right into services and your website. So let's go. Welcome to the Up in My Business podcast with me, Lex Lancaster, where you'll get an inside look at all things tech, business, and my life as a physical therapist turned digital operations expert. You'll hear all about my lessons as a business owner, the ins and outs of tech for your business, and more. From SEO, websites, and email marketing to automations, launches, and copywriting, I've got you. I'm so excited you're here. Let's dive in. As always, I need to tell you about the Up in My Business podcast sponsor, and that is Jane App. Jane is an all-in-one practice management software. The Jane team recognizes how hard you work to support your patients and clients, and they want to do the same thing for you. And that's why they offer unlimited phone, email, and live chat support with every single subscription. And it is truly one of the best features about Jane and why I love Jane so much and why I switched from other EMRs to Jane. So to get started with Jane, they recommend booking a personalized one-on-one demo with a member of their team. Of course, it's a great way to make sure that Jane will be a good fit for you and your practice and just to see Jane's features in action. And Jane even offers a free data import, an account setup consultation, and online training tools to set you up for success. And truly, it is one of the best onboarding processes that I've ever been through. I know there are hiccups that can happen, and Jane will always, always, always help you through those. So to get started, head over to jane.app/start, and their team would love to connect with you to see how Jane could help you and your practice. You can also use the code LEX1MO, so LEX1MO at checkout, and you will get a 1-month grace period applied to your new account. So if you've been looking for an EMR or if you want to try out Jane, head over to jane.app/start, use the code LEX1MO at the time for sign up, and you will get a 1-month grace period. All right, welcome back for another episode of Up in My Business. If you're new here, I do start the episodes with personal update, business updates, and then I jump into the episode. Today, it is kind of a short episode, just short content, because realistically, there isn't too much to say about the services pages in your website, but I will dive into that shortly. So with the time that is not listening to this episode, I hope that you go either make changes or make a plan to make changes in the future on your website. So without further ado, let's jump into personal updates. It's a beautiful day. I'm looking outside. It's a little windy today. The palm trees look really nice. I'm giving you a weather update, not necessarily a personal update, but anyway, just stay with me here. So as always, I'm just super, super grateful that I get to look at palm trees outside my window. I am in such a good place in life. I'm super, super, super happy. And I was actually talking to someone about this recently. And I was saying that before I moved to California, I think I was working, or I know that I was working from, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m. at night. And yes, I was eating lunch. Yes, I was eating all meals and I was taking the dog out, but I felt like I was working every day. And I was busy. I moved here and I'm playing volleyball. I'm not working on Sundays and Saturdays typically. I mean, I am recording this episode on Sunday. So this is me working. I don't mind working. I love working on, a Sunday afternoon. But anyway, I was working a lot less. I am genuinely working a lot less. I play volleyball 3 days a week most times, and I'm starting work much later than I typically started. And I'm getting so much more done. So yes, there was like an influx of busyness, if you will, because of moving and things are changing and getting a new schedule and all of that jazz. But I am working a lot, quote unquote, less, if you will, but I'm much more productive in that time. So I 1000% will put that weight on my environment. Changing my environment has been a total game changer for me. And environment, life stress, relationships in my life, like everything is coming together and it feels so, so good. And I'm so, so grateful that, to be able to live a life that looks like this. And I truly just believe that there is not enough weight put on the fact that your environment and what you're in every single day can truly have an impact on everything around you. And I'm just grateful. I'm so grateful that this is where I'm able to reflect back on this and look at it. And, I am able to be more productive in the hours that I'm working because, the outside stuff is not as, I don't want to say hard because that's not the word I want, but it's not adding as much pressure and stress on my life. And I'm just super, super grateful. So that's like this is called Up in My Business. And if you look at the episode graphic, or if you look at the podcast graphic, the artwork, it is business, tech, and life. So recognizing that this is more of like a life thing. And, I think that there was someone who had DM'd me about, I really am watching you and you look really happy and you look like you're loving life and like everything is really good. And truly, I do think one of the best compliments that I have gotten recently is that I just look happy and I look like I'm shining and I look like I'm glowing, quote unquote. And that's how I feel. And I feel like it's a true statement. It is an internal, like I do feel that way. And it's so, so good. And I love that compliment. And so many people have said it. And oftentimes, sometimes you don't, not that you don't believe it, but it doesn't feel like he's like, oh, someone said it. Like it's, yeah, okay. But when multiple people say it, it's just like, yeah, I am. And like outwardly, I'm so glad that that's what it looks like because it's so internally true. And yeah, that's really like my life update. It's my big life update this week. There's really not much else going on that's different, which is so good. I love the routine. I love what's going on. We're buying furniture for the outdoor spaces. We're, slowly making our way throughout the new place. Shantae and I have promised like a tour, but we are not set up yet as far as like every single room. We have a lot of things like unpacked. We don't have things to unpack, but we're just slowly making the space nicer and, getting different furniture that doesn't fit the space, right? Because we had smaller spaces before, but everything is so good. And I am just super grateful. Once again, I know I've said that same word like 6,000 times, but honest to God, that's exactly the word that I want to use. And for everyone who received my monthly recap emails, if you're not on my email list, feel free to join. I send a monthly recap email that has, good social media posts. And by good, I mean the ones that people are reacting to, the ones that people are liking. And I share the podcast episodes that you might have missed. I share sometimes a little, life update story, but if you've been around here long enough, you know that I'm not the storyteller, and I know that I'm not the storyteller. I'm a very tactical person, but this past email I had sent out, what are 3 words going into September or 3 words that you can say you are feeling going into September. And I had used that question because Emma Jack, my friend and colleague, she had asked that question at a webinar that we ran together. And she was like, what are 3 words that you feel going into this webinar? And I really loved that quote. So sometimes I'll ask that at the beginning of talks that I do. And I asked it in the beginning of this most recent email as well. And I got the best responses. So thank you so much if you responded. I absolutely loved reading them. And I'm going to go through once again and answer most people because I didn't answer everyone, but I just hadn't gotten to that email yet. People are answering over the weekend. So I am just super, super thankful that you all answer those emails because I love hearing from you and I love to hear your 3 words. So if you did not get that email, let me know. I can send it to you. And if you want to just let me know how you're feeling going into September, it is fall. The new year will be coming. Summer is, I don't want to say summer is ending because it's really not ending, but for a lot of people, this is, the start of school marks the end of summer. So I know that a lot of people are feeling like summer is ending. So if you're feeling like you want to share your 3 words, feel free to DM me, email me, whatever you want to do. And yeah. So before I jump into the business updates, I want to thank people who have gone in and rated the podcast and given written reviews. I read one today that was it just made my whole entire day. And I am super grateful for people who are leaving those reviews and making me feel all the feels. And I love that you're getting, tactical things from these podcast episodes and putting them into action in your business and on your website and, etc. So thank you so, so much for leaving the reviews. It makes me feel so, so good. And I'm so happy that I get to record these and help you and that you are allowing me to take up time in your day and space in your life to listen to me talk. It's amazing. It feels so good to know that you value what I'm saying that much to take the time to listen to this. And there are people who tell me that they wait for it to launch every week. And it really, really does mean a lot. And thank you so much. So business updates, quick, because things have not really changed, which is fine. It's just I don't like launching things is very important, and to do something too early because you're rushing is obviously not a good thing. So with that being said, Shantae and I are finalizing the details for our joint coaching program. If you have listened to this multiple times, you already know that we're only opening up 5 seats. Right now we have like a soft 3 to 4 seats already sort of taken. So if you are interested in that, I would recommend getting on the wait list for that, because it's going to be super exclusive, and we are finalizing those details now. Next, get on the waitlist for SEO school. So if you're wondering everything you need to know about SEO for brick and mortar or digital business, I have it's self-led with a live question and answer calls on Zoom. So I do have that program, SEO school. It'll be opening up at the end of October. I know at the last episode that I said it'll open up to the waitlist on Monday, October 30th, but it's actually going to open up to the waitlist on October 23rd. So keep your eye out for that if you're on the waitlist. And if you're not on the waitlist yet, jump on the waitlist now. You will save $100 by being on the waitlist. I give people a discount, and I do have a special early action bonus that I did last time that was so good, and people were super pumped to get it. So keep your eye out for that, because I just talked to this person this past week and they are on board to offer the same thing. So I'm pumped about that, and it's going to be good. So there's that. Registration for Shantae's Instagram intensive will open up today. So you're listening to this on Monday. It will open up today to the public. So I'm going to link the Instagram intensive sales page here. I am an affiliate for the program. I was an affiliate last time as well. The program is all about business coaching for Instagram. So it's not just like how to make an Instagram post. It's how to essentially run your business and be on Instagram, and what to post and when to post and how to post, and like finding your ideal client and all the things like that. So registration for the Instagram intensive does open up today. So I will link that in the show notes as well. Lastly, I'm going to be sending out an email, I believe on Wednesday. If not Wednesday, then on Friday. So I'm looking at a calendar now. Wednesday would be the 6th. Wednesday is the 6th and Friday is the 8th. So I'm going to be sending out an email one of those days about the one spot that I have open for Done For You SEO for brick and mortar businesses. So if you're not on that interest list, I highly recommend getting on it. I have people that are on the interest list that essentially told me like, I'm waiting for you to send that email. I hear you 1000%. I wanted to make sure everything was set to go for that. It is going to be application based. So I'm going to actually send out an email requesting that folks fill out an application for me, only because I need to make sure that this is a good fit, and it's going to be impossible to do discovery calls with every single person who's interested. So just because of time. And I know that, finding the right time when I'm on the Pacific Coast and there's people on the East Coast, yada, yada, yada. So I'm going to be offering it just being an application-based process. And then I will probably be doing it, like I said, first come, first serve, if you will. So I'll send out that email. Anticipate it being in the morning. So I will likely schedule it for the morning of Wednesday or Friday. So make sure you're on that wait list if you are interested. Now, with that being said, I also want to say that if you fill out the application and you're not the first one to fill it out and like be a good fit, you will go on the wait list. And then when I have a spot, you'll be the first one contacted. So it's not like if you don't get in now, you won't get in ever. It's more or less like if you don't get in now, I will put you on the wait list and then contact you. So for what it's worth, if you're interested, please jump on that. And I think one more thing. So one more thing is I'm re-recording the Canva tutorial workshop that I have this week. So it's, like I said, you're listening to this on Monday if you're listening to it on the 4th of September. So I will have that recorded hopefully by end of day today, the 4th. And then I will be relaunching that for purchase on my website. If you've previously purchased it, you will be getting access to the new version, of course, via email. So keep your eye out for that. But if you are looking for tutorial on Canva and how to use Canva in the best way possible, then go check out that workshop. Just wait until it's on my website again, because like I said, it's going to go away as I relaunch it. All right. I think that's it. I think that's all the things, I believe. So I'm just reading my notes. I hope that you all enjoy my singing when I do that. This is a peek. This is a peek into real life. All right. If you ever gotten a call with me, you know that I do that. Like I think out loud and I sing and whatever. Anyway, so let's jump into the episode. So I had said that this episode is about the services pages on your website, or you're listing your services on your website. And the reason why this episode is short is because there's not a ton that I want to say about it, but I just want to make sure that it is said. So, because I know people actually will go, and I've gotten DMs that people will go edit their websites once they listen to this podcast. And I love that. So here we go. When you have a website, you need to have a services page. It's not like you oftentimes have one. You have a services page, and it should be labeled services or work with me or ways to work with me, however you want to say it in a way that makes sense, right? So you don't want it to be cute or funny or, you just want it to be very straight and to the point. So if you say all services, whatever you say, you need to have that as a page on your website. Now, there are different ways to do this, and I'm going to tell you my preferred way to do a layout of your site, and then you can also remove one of the pages, and I'll go through that. So let's just say we're going to work with a business who has 4 different services, okay? So we're going to work with a business that has 4 services, and we're going to create their website. So specifically the services page. How I would lay out this website would be what I call an all services page and then individual service pages for each service. So what that would look like would be in the navigation bar on the top of the website, you would have a folder, okay? That folder would be labeled services. Now, when you start to create pages that go into that folder, the first page that I would create would be titled All Services, okay? On that page, I would have all of the services that I offer. I would have them listed out in a way that makes sense. So depending on the coaching that you've received or how you want to lay out your website, some people will say list the most expensive one first. Others will say list the least expensive one first. I would say list the one that you want people to invest in the most, right? So if you have a signature program, list that one first. If you have something that, is just like a one-off, if you will, you can list that second, whatever you want to do. Either way, we're going to list out all of our services that we offer on that page. On that page for each service, you don't want to list a lot of information. You want this to be like the elevator pitch for your service. So it's not going to be going into detail. You're not going to put bullet points. It's just going to be an elevator pitch for that specific service. Okay. Then you'd have a button on that specific. So each service would have a button with it. That button would then lead to its specific service page. You with me there? Okay. So then if we think about that, we have the first page underneath that folder will be all services. Now, that layout, so I had said, depending on which way you've been coached or which way you prefer, you're going to list your services in a specific order. Now you're going to create individual service pages in that order underneath that folder. So if you list your discovery call and then work one-on-one and then group coaching, in the folder, the pages, the drop-down menu, you're going to go in the same order for the individual pages. Now, on that all services page, you're going to link to those individual pages. So individual pages, what do you want to have on that? The first things first, you want to have the title of the service on the top of the page in your heading font, your heading 1 font. So if it's one-on-one coaching, have one-on-one coaching at the top. If it's group coaching, have group coaching at the top. So for each of those individual services, you will have a page. The title is on the top. So that is just the title of that specific service. Underneath that, I would recommend just making a new section on your website. Typically, I like to make this pretty simple. So you can do it one of 2 ways. The first way, you can have more of like a sales page vibe. So for instance, if I were to list SEO School as a service, I might link that to my sales page for SEO School. Now, am I recommending that for everyone? No. And I think that people with brick and mortar businesses, you're like, but I do, recovery care. Amazing. You don't need to have a full sales page for an individual service page. So instead, what you can do, what my preferred method is to have a photo on the left, and then on the right, you would just put a general description of the service, followed by who you treat in bullet points and like the symptoms that they might have in bullet points underneath, the pain points, what they talk to you about, what they say they have problems with, and what this service is for. So the questions they may have is another thing that you could put in bullet points, but you're just doing a short description, more in depth than you have on the all services page, but you're still not writing like 16 paragraphs, right? So keep it readable, keep it scannable, bullet points, etc., and really make whoever is going to invest in that service or whoever you want to invest in that service, make sure that you're having them or speaking directly to them so that they know that service is for them. So bullet points of who they are, what they might say to you, the problems they have, the pain points they have, etc. On that services page now, you want to have a call to action. So whether it's book a call or put in an inquiry form or check out this other thing, whatever that may be, buy this course. So now you're going to have that call to action on that page. I typically recommend having it underneath what you just wrote, obviously, right? So we want to make sure we have it underneath that general description or more specific description and who the person is that you are talking to. So things that you could put on that page that I did not say yet, you can put a map, like where you're located. You can put like a general, like testimonials, if you will, for that specific service. You can also put a more in-depth description, right? So if you want to have a more in-depth description, not necessarily a sales page vibe, but just a little bit more, you can just add another section underneath that and just talk more about the service there. So it doesn't necessarily have to always be super short or super long, but if you feel like you have more information to say, more information to give, who is this right for, who is it not right for, whatever it may be, you can put that underneath that initial layout, right? So that is that. I also would say if you're going to add more information, right? So you're going to have the top section is the title, then you have the image and you have the description, the bullet points. And then if you add more information underneath that, I would say that you also need to add a call to action underneath that more information section, because you don't want that call to action button to get lost, if you will, if someone is going to be scrolling. So the other thing that I would say you could put on this page that I did not mention prior, you can put a freebie related to that service. So if it's like dance medicine, you could put a dance freebie, like 3 exercises for ankles or something like that. So 3 exercises for, mobile ankles or whatever someone might say to you. So a specific freebie, if you will, that can get someone on your email list. Listen to the last episode. So episode 31, listen to that episode if you want to know all about PDFs and whatnot, but putting a specific freebie on the specific service page. So that's another thing that you can put on there. The last thing that I would say to put on that page that is a huge game changer, if you will, for SEO as well, is more photos. So you could put a photo gallery. So if you have more photos that are related to that service, I would put those on that page. Now, just a quick little description of why I say to lay out the site like this and why it is important to have separate service pages for each of your services. The top thing is just easy navigation. So it's really nice for someone to be able to have both options of seeing all of your services on one page, and then also to be able to dive into each service or a service that might interest them right away. So if they click that drop down menu, they may go right to your all services page, but some people are going to go to the specific service that they think you offer or that they want more information on. So it's really, really good for navigation and ease of access and just user accessibility. Number 2 is SEO. So if you're looking to improve your ability to be found on Google, ideally you have a specific service page. I keep saying service and it sounds like cervix. I'm just dying over here. I hope someone else has heard this and laughed. Oh God. Okay. Anyway, so if you have that specific services page and you have the heading title on there, that tells Google that the page is about that specific thing, which then allows Google to associate those words with your name or your business name or your location. So it's important to have different pages for each of your services because you're increasing your ability to be found for that thing on Google by doing that. So that is the reasoning behind having the specific service pages as well when it comes to SEO. Now, I won't dive too far into this, but being able to have specific service pages also allows you to target, if you will, that SEO term more because your photos all are targeting that term. Your copy is all targeting that term. So having more ways to get that keyword in there and talk more about that service is just going to associate you and your business with that service more to Google, right? Who only reads the text that you put on there. So that's all I really have for you. And if you have questions, please let me know. But if you have a website, if you're thinking about building a website, I do have that website guide in my link in bio. I will link it obviously in the show notes, but that website guide does go through all the points that I just mentioned as far as developing these pages for each of your services. So you can feel free to download that, or you can head right to your website right now, start building out those pages. And if you already have these pages built, maybe you can tweak them a little bit to make them more specific or easier to read, or adding a call to action, adding a map, adding photos, whatever may work for you. So I know that the tactical part of this was really short, and a lot of the personal and business updates did take up a lot of time, but use this time to go make edits, plan your website, do all the things. And I will make sure that, if you reach out to me with questions, just let me know and I will help you out. So without further ado, I have checked off all the things on my list. Please let me know if you have questions once again. And I am just super excited that I got to record this. I'm just loving this office too, because I know that the sound is so much better here because of carpet. So I'm hoping you're loving it as well. All right, that's it. Let's wrap it up. I will talk to you next week, and thank you so much for listening. I'll catch you next time.